All right. Well, we are very excited to be here today because we are kicking off a new week. So it's
It's
time
Monday.
for theme number two. Theme number two. Two.
Two minutes in
And
one.
then yeah, there you go. So, theme number two. What are we doing this week, Barb? The theme is
Why don't you say it and then I'll agree with you?
our favorite blocks.
Okay,
Our
favorite
favorite
blocks. And I
yes.
actually, it is my favorite. It is my favorite.
You do love that block, and
I
I
do.
think it's really, really cute.
I like
Do you
it.
have the finished sample of it?
I thought it was in here already.
Okay, I don't see it. I wonder if Anna has it, that we can at least show the finished sample.
I thought it was in there.
Okay. Oh, Barb said, thanks to technology, I met you. Thank you, Barb. I feel the same way. Because of technology, we've been able to meet all of you, which is wonderful. Alice says that she just finished Lisa's IQ flower class and learned so much. Oh, nothing better than hearing that. That's for sure. All right. Here we go. There's your block. So today and all this week, each of us as contributors decided to show our favorite block. I have lots of favorite blocks. It was hard to decide.
I really
But
like
you
this
really
one.
do love that block. And that's the Three Dudes block.
It is. It's the three dudes.
So you've done that block before, like
I have.
in Sweet and Simple.
I did.
Correct?
Yes.
Right? Okay. And then I'm going to be sharing with you the Dresden Flower block.
Why, we use
which
the
is the
same
one I'm going to be doing.
fabrics. Look at
Well,
that.
what do you know? I wonder if there's a theme going on here. So each of us are going to share with you a different block this week, and we will have the patterns available for you, and we're going to take you step by step on how they're done. So, Barb,
What? I didn't get the memo.
Do you want me to go first?
I do want you to go way first.
Way first.
And long.
or do you want to
I can
explain
kind of
it in a
tell you
kind
how
of in a
this is
nutshell?
done. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's one she's done often and it looks really hard,
It does.
but it's really, really simple.
It is. It's pretty easy. So the original block was done with a jelly roll. So you've got your 2.5-inch strips, although we have modified it so it will be an 8.5-inch square finished.
Mm-hmm.
And you take 4 strips,
Mm-hmm.
you sew them all together so they're one long strip.
Yeah.
And it's usually going to be about 8.5 inches wide when you finish with your jelly roll. So you'll cut it 8.5 inches. So it's
So
square.
you're subcutting it.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You're going to cut it once
Mhm.
you sew them together.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to take that 4. You got 2 squares, right?
Right.
Strips.
Right.
You're going to take this one and lay it across it this way.
Right sides together.
The right sides together, so they are going opposite directions. They're crisscross.
Mm-hmm.
I think the name of my pattern that I did was crisscross applesauce.
Oh,
That makes sense, doesn't it? All right. And then you sew all the way around, completely around, not leaving any openings.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cut it from corner to corner. So I would cut it from this corner to that corner,
Mm-hmm.
this corner to that corner.
But this is what you get.
Exactly.
You get
4
a
of
block
those.
that looks like this or like this, right? And then you put those together.
You sew them together and then you end up with that. And I decided to do mine in the square like that. If you had made them face the other direction, it would have been hearts on the inside.
That would have been kind of cute.
Yeah. Would have been kind of cute.
Kind of cute for, the
kinda like-
Valentine theme.
That would have been cute. We should have talked sooner
We should
about
have.
this.
But it is beautiful.
I love it.
Lynn says, what a pretty square block.
And what's nice
It
about
really
it
is.
is that you don't have to work hard to get all those points together. They just come together. And if they're not perfect, in fact, I did a whole quilt in this, and every point wasn't together, and it really added to the charm of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
It did.
So it's kind of like a perfectly imperfect block.
Right. And in the quilt that I did, I used like 8, 10 different colors. I
Mhm.
did not use the same ones.
Mhm.
Whereas
Right.
this time we were,
Let's take a look at your pattern, Barb,
okay.
that you can see right here. There's directions step by step of how you put that together, but that really is a lot of fun.
And it's, 6 directions. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
done.
and easy.
Very easy.
Super
Unlike
easy.
yours that you're doing today.
Do you?
Unlike yours.
Oh, unlike mine?
Unlike yours.
Mine's complicated?
Yours going to be a little more complicated
No,
than
no,
mine.
no. It's very, very simple, I promise. So let's talk about my favorite block, which is the Dresden Flower. Love, love, love this. And it's very easy to do. So what you're going to do is I first started out with an 8.5 inch white square background. I'll also mention that because I was using white, I did add a little of the Kimberbell fusible backing onto the back of it, just to give it a little more stability, because this block is going to be actually appliqued to here. Now you can applique on a plain solid, just by itself, but sometimes it can get caught up and bunch up a little bit. So by putting the fusible backing on there, it just gives a nicer foundation for that applique. All right. Nice. So this is how you do it. You're going to cut 2 4-inch strips of fabric. So I did one with pink and one with red. And I'm going to place them one on top of the other. All right, there's a question. Sherry says, so to get the heart out of Barb's used, put wrong sides together?
No, you don't put wrong sides together.
You just put them opposite.
Orient the 4 blocks that you put together.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull this back so I can show you this demo. All right, so here we go. I have one strip on top of the other, again 4 inches wide,
and they are not right sides together. They are both facing up.
Yeah, they're both facing up.
Or does it really matter?
On this one it doesn't matter. So I'm going to be using this ruler to help me. I also have included a template. If you don't have this ruler, there's a template that you could use, or if you want to purchase this ruler, it just might be under the daily deal.
It just might.
It just might. I love this ruler. I love the angle. It's a 45-degree Kaleidoscope and Dresden plate ruler by Creative Grids. I want you to notice something about this. It has a square top. We're not used to seeing necessarily a triangle with a square top, are we? It's usually up at a point, but there's a really good reason for this square top, and that's going to still line up against the top of your fabric. All right, so I'm going to place it right here. This is at the square is at the top, and then it comes down to the 4-inch line. All right. And then I'm simply going to do a trim here. Whoops.
Oh, if you had that rotating mat.
If I had that rotating mat, that would be really nice. I'm gonna. Do we have one underneath there? Do. Oh, let me grab that. Let me grab one of these babies.
I love that rotating mat.
Same. All right. So I had just cut this side, and now I'm going to rotate it and cut this side. Okay. So I have 2 triangles, and then I'll just flip this the other direction. I'm still lining it up against the side here. Rotate this. Okay. I need to get a new blade in there. Okay. And there we go. So you're going to do this 4 times. You need 4 reds, 4 pinks to do the Dresden flower. All right. Once your triangles have been cut out, what you'll do is you take one of the triangles, you fold it in half with right sides together. All right, just like this, right sides together. And then you're going to sew a 1/4-inch line going straight across. So I'm going to ask Barb if she wouldn't mind doing that for us. She's going to do this. We'll do it 4 times. And again, while she's doing that, and I have it set up at 1/4 inch, I'm just folding this in half, and I sew straight across that long side. Right? Very, very easy to do. Boom. She's just chain piecing these. Again, another triangle. Fold it in half, sew straight across that bottom edge. And one more. Fold it in half, sew straight across that bottom edge. Okay. All right. Now the fun part comes where I get to turn these right side out. So I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, cut those apart. Before I turn it right side out, though, I'm going to do one more thing. Along that fold, I'm going to cut a little piece out of the corner just to reduce the bulk. Okay, so right here, that top corner.
Where the fold is.
Where the fold is, just trim it out to reduce bulk.
Those are such nice scissors.
Oh, I love these scissors.
Wow, it's like cutting butter.
Yes, it is. Now I'm going to use the R&K turning tool, and I'm going to just turn it right side out and just kind of poke that right through there.
You don't want me to poke that, do you?
I don't want Barb to, or else she's got too much strength in her hands. She's going to go right through. That's right. So do you see how it's now becoming a Dresden fan? So these really are so simple.
That is so cute
to do. Okay, so it's really quite fun.
Wow.
All right. Once those have been made, you're going to just kind of finagle this where you move it so that this is in the center. And you can kind of eyeball this to see that it's even on both sides. And then you're going to give it a press. So I'm going to ask Barb if she wouldn't mind doing that. She's going to press those real quick.
Really, it's plugged in?
Uh-huh.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's plugged in. And then let me answer questions while she's pressing those, and then I'll show you what step is next. Let's see. Julianne, no, Barb's not going to be stitching out her block today. You love the colors, Curtis is saying. Yes, I believe they are putting some kits together. So, hi, Anne. All right. Melinda, we do sell the rotating mat. We sell the 10-inch and we sell the 16-inch. I love them both for different reasons. Here's the 16-inch right here. I love this for like large rulers or orange pop rulers. And then this one is the 10-inch, and I love that for doing smaller cuts. But one of my favorite rulers, and you can find them on the website. Okay, how are we doing, Barb?
We're good.
You got those done? All right, so here we go. You can see it's almost like we've made little kites. Yay, Annette says she's been using her rotating mat all day and loves it. Okay, how many blocks total will there be? Julianne's asking. By the end of the week, you will have 9 blocks. All right. Okay, so now at this point, what you want to do is you want to pair up a red and a pink together, and just putting right sides together, you'll sew along one long edge. Okay, so I'm going to give that to Barb, and you're going to do the same thing with another one. Let me see what direction I've got it. Okay, right on the bottom. All right. And then you put one on top of the other. So again, like this, lining it up here, and then go a 1/4 inch all the way down. Now, what's most important is that you line up along this point at the top, and it's okay if it's not perfectly even down here. So the most important part when sewing this together is that it is even up here. That's what's going to show. The nice thing about this block is it can be very forgiving because look what I did. I added a yo-yo in the middle, which not only is just a little detail that's really cute, but it means that you don't have to have perfect sewing either. So once you've done both of these, it looks like this. In fact, it almost looks like a heart, doesn't it? And you're just going to press those to the side, and then you put these two blocks together and do it again. So Barb's going to do that. And once that is all done, you're going to have something that looks like this. Notice I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance down there. That's good. So when it comes together, it all comes together so nice. So I've already done half of my Dresden fan before I did the demo. So I've done half of it. You can see right here what it looks like in the back. Okay. I did open up my seam to press it open once I put them all together. And that just, again, it helps redistribute the bulk a little bit more in that block. All right, so it looks like this. Barb just finished this one. So what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to put the two pairs together. And, ooh, there we go. So just like that, right sides together. Might have to pull a little bit on that. And then you just sew down the middle. Okay. Let's see. Yes, you're exactly right. Lynn says the yo-yo will cover a multitude of sins. Exactly. It really does. It's wonderful. So if it's a little ski-wampus, if it doesn't come together perfectly, don't fret. Don't fret. All right. So we're going to, whoa, look at that. Great. It doesn't look too bad. Ta-da. So there you go. There's your Dresden flower. And then you're just going to do a yo-yo, or if you don't want to do a yo-yo, you could also just create an applique circle out of it, right? So,
or if your points are so perfect, you don't have to do anything, right?
No, you wouldn't have to do something. That's for sure. You wouldn't have to do something.
But I think that really adds a cute element to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I was looking for a needle and thread. Do you have a needle down there?
I don't have any idea.
And so here we go. Now to applique, so I mean this went together really easy, right? It wasn't hard at all. Yes, you could put a button on. Absolutely, Bridget. That would be great.
Are you going to demo? Because I'll go find your needle and thread.
Oh, that would be great. Okay. So once you have this, you're going to applique it onto your background. There's lots of different ways you could applique this. The way I decided to do it was I put this on top of Heat and Bond light, and I just traced around it, and then I cut my Heat and Bond light out in the just like a 1/4 inch inside of my trace line, and cut it out, and then I just put it on the back so that then I could applique it, I could fuse it, I should say, right on there. Kept it nice and still. You don't have to do it that way. I just like it to be really nice and flat. You could just pin it on, or maybe even take a little glue stick and glue it on, and then you go around and you do the applique. You could do a blanket stitch. You could do a straight edge stitch. What I chose was I used a monofilament thread in the top. When you use monofilament thread in the top, you still use the cotton in the bottom, okay, in the bobbin, I should say. And I did a tiny, tiny zigzag stitch all the way around. In fact, you really virtually can't even see it, can you?
So you did that by hand?
No, I did it on the machine.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it on the machine, but really you can hardly even see the zigzag,
I like
right?
That.
Yeah. So let me show you quickly how to do a yo-yo. All right. Now there are yo-yo makers, which are awesome. Love those, but I'm going to show you how to do it without. But if you're doing lots of yo-yos, I definitely recommend a yo-yo maker. They are fabulous. So I'm basically just cutting a circle. Now I have a template for a circle in here if you need it. I just eyeballed this one. It's not too bad, right?
Not bad at all.
And then you're going to take needle and thread. And when I thread for this, I actually like to double my thread. Okay. Julianne says she has a hard time stitching with the clear thread. Yeah, you know, it can be, sometimes it can, it's not too bad as long as you're using cotton in the bottom.
And I like to use it in my bobbin.
And you like
that's where I
you like to use monofilament in your bobbin? Oh, I don't. See,
that's the place I use it.
But oh, interesting.
But that's okay.
But are you using monofilament on the top and the bottom at the
if I
same
were doing
time?
this, no, I wouldn't. I would just use cotton in the bottom and monofilament on the top. If I were doing this.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
that's perfect.
So what you do here is you're going to fold over just about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, but as you stitch. Okay, let me see if I can pull this together here. So what are you laughing at me for?
You put it down there so they can't see the face you're pulling.
Oh, there you go.
Well, look at that.
I'm just going up and down and up and down, and then I pull it through and then continue. Again, making sure you have a little bit of a hem. It's totally okay if that hem is not perfect. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be perfect because it is in a circle, and that can be really, really tricky. And I don't want you to fold over and press this as you go. That's just a pain. So just...
And you don't want it to be a flat seam.
No, we just want it to be folded over a little bit. And do you see what's happening here? I'm just doing long running stitches.
I like that.
All the way around. Have you ever done a yo-yo like this?
Not like that.
Oh, okay.
I've barely done them the other way.
Now, this is one of the reasons why I really do like the yo-yo maker is because it keeps it nice and sturdy. But, you know, sometimes I don't have one handy. So
it's nice to know that you have another choice too.
Yeah, exactly. So again, and within less than a minute, I was able to make this yo-yo. Okay, so I'm going to come up through here. All right, now it looks like this. And I'm going to take this thread and the thread I started with and pull both of those at the same time.
And look at that.
Ta-da! And then you kind of play with it, kind of finagle it. Okay, and I have a yo-yo. Now, to tie it off, everyone see that? Okay. And again, you're trying to just move this around so that that center is in the center of the yo-yo. And then I'm just, with my needle and thread, I will go up and down a couple of times right through the middle, down below. And then I come up, back through the middle and up. And I go back down one time and then back up one more time. Okay. Now, it's totally fine to do this because guess what? You're not going to see the back of this. It's sewn in. And then I just take my two pieces of thread, I give it a knot and trim it up. Whoops, I got that caught in the seam. Okay, and then tie the knot and then cut it. All righty. Just get that thread cut. There we go. And that's how simple it is to do a yo-yo. Okay, so then what you do is you just place it on top of there. Then I'll go through a couple times. And then I will take one thread and just do a little what would you call this, Barb?
Just invisible stitch.
Like an invisible stitch coming from the fold of it down in there. And that's what kind of gives it that higher top, almost like a volcano top. And then the rest comes down real nicely. So
cute.
That's as simple as it gets. So that's my favorite block. And
well, I like it.
Thank you. And I have directions for you as well on how this is all done. So if you need a review.
There you go.
Okay.
You got her made.
Oh, Margie asks, why do I do that? Margie, tell me more. Why do I do
what?
Let me know what question you're curious on, because was it the tying the? I don't know.
I don't know.
Let me know. Let me know, Margie. Alice said, I make it look easy, even with the yo-yo maker. It takes her longer.
I was thinking that.
Really?
The yo-yo maker, you have to go in the right hole and down. And
yeah. See, the yo-yo maker's super fast.
Yeah, it is fast.
Split. But you can do it without. So it just, it just depends on what you're looking at, right? Brenda says she hates hand stitching, but she can do yo-yos.
Me too. I hate hand stitching.
Though she would never make a yo-yo quilt. I wouldn't either. But I know people who have. And actually they will make them, and they take them in like little bags or little containers, and they take it with them in the car, and they take it to ball games, and they take it to watch TV, and then they just continue to add and add and add, and eventually they get it enough to be a quilt. If it were me, I would probably do a little table topper that was about this big.
Well, if it were me and I took it in the car with me to do, and I had it in this cute little baggie, I would have to hurry and take everything out and throw up in the baggie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
I can't do it in the car.
Oh, Margie's asking up through the middle and down. Okay.
That just solidifies it into one.
Yeah, I just like having that top being brought down.
It keeps that in the center.
Yes.
Otherwise, it won't stay in the center.
Very good
point. The little
point.
center part.
Very good point. So that's
you go,
why.
Margie.
Yeah. Donna, the size yo-yo maker you would use on this, I mean, you could use any size, but probably the large is the one that I would do.
The large?
That is the large.
Wow.
But an extra large would work. It just depends on how much of the space that you want to take. So the name of Barb's block is the Three Dudes block, I think, isn't it?
It's just Three Dudes.
Three Dudes. This was a block.
Now, why was it called Three Dudes?
Because it was created from
Three
Dudes Quilt Shop years ago.
So Three Dudes put this together.
Yeah. And good friends of ours. And
I like them.
Yeah, but they no longer have their quilt shop, but they were the ones who came up with the Three Dudes block.
And we have to give them credit.
And so absolutely. Yep. So, okay. Let's see. I'll answer about where to find them here in just a minute. Are there any other questions? Marianne said, a coin purse is the right size for me. 2 yo-yos.
Perfect.
That would be kind of fun. If you did like the 2 extra large yo-yos and then you stitch them together, you really could have a little coin purse.
You could.
And you could use the little Kimberbell clasps on that. Have you done that, Marianne? I haven't made one before, but that would be kind of fun.
Wow.
Lynn said that would make a beautiful baby quilt.
It would. It would.
Yeah.
Oh, when she said, you mean the Three Dudes?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I did it for. That was my quilt.
Was a baby
quilt.
Yeah.
And she loved it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Can you lock the rotating mat? That's a really good question.
It's a really good idea to suggest to somebody. But then if you're going to lock it, you might as well just be down on the solid piece.
Basically, I think to really kind of lock it in place is the pressure. Once you put the pressure on there, it really does help to hold it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's
I don't think
locked.
I'd want to lock it, though. I don't think that would be the whole idea. But
yeah, I don't know.
I think that's why it's a rotating mat.
Yes, Debbie, I do double thread, even if I use the yo-yo maker. The reason for that is because you're pulling it after it's done, and
you would not want to break that.
You don't want to break it. That's no fun. I mean,
to work that hard and have it break.
Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't want that for like when you do. Have you ever done gathering and then pulled it and pop?
Yep.
Yeah, not fun. So
it is not fun.
Yeah, that's why I would double thread it for sure. So, let's see. Laura asked, "Is the Me and My Sister double wide Dresden ruler equal to Creative Grids ruler?" I don't know, but you could still. I haven't done the Me and My Sister one, but I would imagine, Laura, if it makes a Dresden, which it does, then maybe it won't be exactly this shape. It might. I think theirs might be a little bit wider. So if it's a little bit wider, it might have 6 fans instead of the 8. So you might have to play around with that, but you definitely could. You could do that same kind of thing there. Yeah, Nola, great idea. She uses dental floss, and I will do that when I'm gathering.
Will you really?
All day long. Yes, if I'm gathering by hand, that is, then for sure I would. All right. Joyce says it moves on her while she's trying to cut.
It moves. You mean
the pink
the rotating mat? If you come straight on the top,
you kind of got to tell the mat who's boss.
And if you're going straight down on it, not in an angle, I think it will stay in place better.
Yeah, yeah. So, did you want to talk about the 8.5-inch square?
Up ruler. I love that.
I don't know where it went. Oh, right, I forgot to mention this. I didn't do this because I wasn't thinking about it when Barb was over pressing these, but have you ever used this?
I love that
too. And if I want to get really nice flat seams, what I'll do is I will sew it, then put the heat on it for pressing, and then immediately after pressing, I just lay this on top.
And to let it cool.
And let it cool with the wood clapper on top. And that seam just goes so nice and flat.
It does. How many times have I, at my ironing board, stuck pins in quickly after I ironed it to keep it nice and flat? But you don't have to with that. And then you don't have pin marks. Because you'll get pin marks from the heat.
I love this thing.
I love that too.
It's very nice. I use it all the time. If you were in my Be Mine class the other day, I was using this. It was like I just had the system where I sewed, put some heat on it, did this, did the next thing.
And you just had it down to a system, didn't you?
I had it down to a system. I was like, boom, 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 boom. Here we go. And love this. It's nice and heavy. Perfect. So that is something we wanted to share too. Did you want to say anything about this ruler? I just wanted to
say, I think so many people have questions about how to square their blocks.
Yeah.
And how important it is. I mean, after you make every one of these blocks, of course, boy, there's that tongue again. With Kris's right here, she cut hers at 8.5-inch square. So
I did.
It was done.
Easy because
so you really
didn't have to square anything up. Right.
But when you're making a quilt and you have to square your blocks, it is so important. If you don't square each block and make sure that they're right, you're going to end up with it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
So I do this, and I like this one in particular. It has a guiding line down the center where I can center my block on it. Do you mind if we kind of show them how it's done?
Yeah. Let's do it. Julie asked me when we're going to do a UFO run this year. I haven't decided yet. Woo, I'm sweating, right? We haven't decided yet, Julie.
I think I'll move that. I think it's going to help at all.
Yeah. Do you want the big one?
Actually, let's have that big one out here.
Let's do that.
Okay, I'm not going to unwrap this.
Okay.
So I'm going to preserve that for a minute. So if I've got my block out here and I know I want it to be 8.5 inches, this square right here is actually 8.5 inches. I could do this with a 10.5-inch square. I could do it with different sizes, but this one is 8.5. What I would do is I would line. So it's all, there's not a straight corner on here if you want to pretend that. So let's go down to 8 inches, but I'm not going to cut it.
Oh, because you're already at 8.5.
I'm already 8.5. Yeah. So this one right here is perfect, of course. But if I were taking down to 8 inches, I would have this side over here overlap. I would have this side here overlap. But I'd want to make sure that this line was going right down the center of my block.
Sure.
And the reason I had let this edge right here overlap and this overlap, I want to cut something off there and there. Then I would turn it around. So that point is down there. I would lift up my ruler. And then I would line it up perfectly at 8 inches.
Yep.
And I would once again make sure that my line was going straight through. And that one was on the 8-inch mark. And this one's on the 8-inch mark. Then I would cut that off, the excess. Then I would have a perfectly 8-inch square.
Yeah.
I think this was one of the things that was a little confusing to me at first. I thought, okay, I cut this one. How do I put it on there again? How do I do that? And I just wanted to go over that so that everybody knew how to do that.
Definitely.
Because I love to square blocks.
That. Well, yeah, and I totally agree. And I actually talked about it a little bit last week when we talked about squaring blocks.
That's important. It's so
if
important.
you don't, it just snowballs.
It does.
The issues just snowball. So for sure.
And then you're frustrated and you're not happy with your project. And we all want to be happy, right?
That's right.
We want to be excited.
Brenda said that you and I are coordinating like a family photo.
Oh, are we really?
We did not even notice that.
No, I didn't. I don't.
I've been in Sandy already today.
Yeah.
So it's been a very busy day. All right. So, thank you, Heidi.
Oh, Heidi. How are you, Heidi? How's Washington?
Suzanne said the white line mark on the ruler is very helpful too.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
Definitely. Do you want to show that? The nice thing also about the Creative Grids rulers is that they have these little QR codes. And if you take a picture on your phone with a QR code, what it will do is it will pop up a video on how to use that ruler, and it's on your phone. See, on my Kaleidoscope Dresden fan ruler, same thing. It's got a little QR code printed on there. So again, if you take a picture, you can a video will pop up that tells you
exactly
how to do it.
Yeah, and they have grippers on the back, which I think is wonderful. These little grippers, so they don't slide on your fabric. They kind of stick right to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I love these rulers.
Yeah, Suzanne said it centers the ruler on a block that does not have a center seam, which that's true too.
That's true. Yep, that is very true. You can go corner to corner.
You don't always have.
That's very true.
All these, it might be hard to see, but there's all these little white lines. And so that's what it's helping do. Thank you, Suzanne. That's awesome.
Suzanne is
she said the video explains it better. She is. And she knows her rulers too. I'll tell you what. Speaking of Suzanne, a lot of you really enjoyed the 3 at 3 2 weeks ago with her and learning how to choose fabric. I'm going down to Sandy again on Friday, and her and I are going to do it again.
I love that.
And this time,
that's the scariest thing to me, is picking the fabrics.
Yeah, this time we're going to base it off of the fabrics we choose for these kits.
Is that right?
So each day we'll show off new fabrics, and then we're going to put together a finishing kit, if you want, where you can get the sashing and the borders and the binding.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And what are we making?
Margie loves those rulers too. I know, they're awesome.
Do we know what we're making?
Well, you could make a table topper. You could make it into a wall hanging.
Or a very small quilt. We talked about very small quilts.
Or a very small quilt. So, but yeah, everyone is going to be showing new blocks this week. So you'll get between 2 or 3 new blocks every day.
Every day? That's a lot of blocks.
Yeah.